Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to use VLOOKUP to bring back an image. And I'll show two examples. One that is going to use the images that are available from the Windings font. So it really isn't an image when you think about it. It's more of a font type. But that font type has certain images that you can use. The other way is to actually use images. And you'll notice after I create this, you'll see that there are some limitations to this second example. But let me go through both examples, and I'll start first with the font example, the Windings font. So let me go ahead and go into the Demo 1 tab here. Now we have our table here, and let's say for example we have the score here, and based on the score we want to show some images. Now just to keep things simple, let's just say that we have 3 bands of scoring. So 80 and higher we get a happy face. Between 70 and 79 we get a average looking face, and then anything under 69, 0 to 69 basically, we get a sad face. Now these faces are associated with letters. You can see that when I click into each cell, basically it's a letter. So if I type J here, or uppercase J, and then uppercase K and uppercase L, and this is in the Calibri font. But if I go ahead and select that and go under Windings, I can just type W-I-N-D, and it will take me there. So I take Windings. Whoops, not the Webdings. It's going to be the Windings. So W-I-N-D-I-N-G. So it's this one, W-I-N. It will give me that particular image. Now, this can also be something that you can get out of the Insert tab. So if I go into the Insert tab and I go under Symbol, and if I select Windings, and go ahead and go over here to Windings, you'll notice that there are a bunch of different images that you can use, and you can basically just click on them and click Insert and put those in. Now let me go ahead and close this. Once I have those in, if I didn't want the Windings font anymore, if I go to home and I select regular fonts, just some regular font, let's just say something like Verdana, you'll notice that the keyboard symbol that you see is something that you can just type in there. So if there's something that you already know what it is, you can just go type it in and then just select Windings to get there. So there's a couple ways you can get those images. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete this and go back into the table here. So let's look at the image that I want to get. So basically what I want to do is I want to look up this number and bring back that image. So I'm going to use the VLOOKUP equal, whoops, I have it on Windings font here, so I'm going to go ahead and just select this and just click on back on Calibri, right? I can just type VLOOKUP equal VLOOKUP. Oh, I have this on a center, so I'm going to go ahead and press Escape. Let me go ahead and press Escape and just select these range of cells and just go ahead and click on left align here, so it looks a little bit better. Equals VLOOKUP. Go ahead and tab to start out that parentheses. I want to look up this value, comma, the table array is here, all right? And then I'm going to go ahead and press the F4 key because it will put the dollar signs in front of the letters and numbers to make it an absolute cell reference. So when I copy it down, these values stay the same. You'll notice when I copy it down, B2 will change to B3 and B4, B5, etc. when I copy it down. But since I have dollar signs in front of it, it's an absolute cell reference, and those will stay the same. Now I'm going to press comma. The column index number, it's going to be the second column here. So I'm going to type 2. And then for the lookup, I want to have an approximate match. So I'm going to click on true. So what it does is for the approximate match, and usually for approximate match, you want to have your table that you're looking it up to be in, you want to have your table array, you want to have that in ascending order. So 0, 70, 80 basically have to ascend. So what it's going to do is it's going to look at 78 and it's going to go, oh, is it greater than 78? Yes. Let me go over here. Is it greater than 78? Yes. Is it greater than 80? No. So it's going to go back over here and it's going to bring back the value here since this is in the second column. So that's how the false works for the range lookup. So I'm going to go ahead and close parentheses, press enter. Now you notice that it brought back the letter, and that's because that is the letter here, the letter K. And so what I want to do here is change this range into the Wingdings range. So let me go and double click that to fill it down. So it's giving me all these letters. And basically, I'm just going to change it to Wingdings, W-I-N-G, and select that. And then I've got my images. So basically, you're just going to find your images that kind of translate to the letters that you can type in. And so these happy faces translate to J, K, and L respectively here. So with these images, I'll just go ahead and center that to make it look a little bit more nicer. And we have our pseudo images that we have brought over with the VLOOKUP. So that's the first way that we can bring images with the VLOOKUP. Basically, we're using fonts that kind of masquerade as an image using the Wingdings font. So let me go ahead and show you the next example, the next demo here. So this demo is a little bit more, involves a little bit more, and also there's some limitations because it is a little bit more manual. So if you have a long table, it might not be advisable for you to do it because you're going to have to do these manual steps over and over again to get it. But if you have a relatively short table, it just depends on how much work you want to do. You can actually use this particular way to do it. Let me go back into the example and show you how it changes. So for this example, I didn't show the example here where we changed, right? So we have, let's say that's changed to 34, and then that happy face turns into a sad face. So the same thing would happen here, but these are images instead of the fonts. So if I change Raja to good, maybe he got a 98, it would turn into a happy face. So let me go back into demo 2 and show you how this is done. So basically there's 4 steps here. First you need to create your pictures, then you need to assign a name to each picture, then you need to assign a name to the cell for the lookup function. Basically we're assigning a name for the cell where the lookup function is going to happen. And then we need to paste a picture link and reference the assigned name that we gave from step 3. So let's source our images. I have my images here in the example. Let me go ahead and go over here. Now these are the images. I'm going to go ahead and multi-select. Press the Control key, select that one, Control C to copy, go back over here, and then Control V to paste. So let me go ahead and move these images over here. Now they're a little bit big, so I'm going to go ahead. That's okay. Let me go ahead and just leave them here like this. Now, the thing with the images, you probably want the images around the same size, not too big for the cells, and maybe not too small. But once you got your images around the same size each, you can start to format it a little bit more. Let me go ahead and select these images and kind of move them out here because I want to format the cell size here, the height here to kind of fit those images. So let me take these 3 rows, kind of move it up a little bit. So, whoops. Let me go ahead and kind of move it like this. Yeah, move the height. So let me go ahead and put this image over here. Okay, and then this image over here. I want it to kind of stay within the borders of the cell. I don't want it to go out a little bit, and I kind of want them to kind of match up to align kind of nicely. So let me go ahead and move this one up a little bit more. Alright, so it's within the border of the cell. So now I've created my pictures and I've kind of know where I'm going to assign them. So now I have to assign a name to each picture. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go ahead and click in the cell that the picture is in and just type the name. You can type the name here, or you can go under the formulas and define a name. Or since I've had the name here on the left, I can actually just select this. Well, let me go ahead and just show this example. So let me go ahead and type a name here. I'm just going to go ahead and type bad underscore 2. There's going to be some limitations on what you can put in the name. I believe you can't have spaces, and there's certain characters you can't have. I think an underscore is okay. So if I press enter, you see bad 2 there. Okay, and I can just put I'll put average here. I'll go ahead and type average underscore 2, and then under this cell I will put good underscore 2. So basically we're just giving a name to that cell, and that's underscore 2. Alright, so we're just giving a name to them, and what I'm going to do here is I probably should also make it consistent for these names here. So that's bad 2, and this is average 2, and this will be good underscore 2. Right, because the names will need to match the picture. So what I'm going to do now is I've completed number 2. I've assigned a name to each picture. Now I need to assign a name to the cell with the lookup function. But first, it's assuming that we have created a lookup function, but we haven't yet. So I'm going to go ahead and create the lookup function for that. So it's going to be the same thing that I did here when I did the VLOOKUP. I'm going to go ahead and type equals VLOOKUP, tab, and then select that value. That's the lookup value. And then this is my table here. And I want to have that in the absolute values for both both letter and number for the range. And then comma the column index, it's the second column. I want to bring back this value, bad2. And then the range lookup, it's going to be an approximate match. Go ahead and double click that, close the parentheses, press enter, and now I have my rating. Let me go and double click this to increase the size. Let me go click the fill handle down here and pull the fill handle down, and it's going to copy the formula down. So as I said before, the dollar signs, they stay consistent. They make the cell range stay consistent when you copy it down. But you'll notice that since there's no dollar signs in front of here, the numbers change. It increments to B7, B8, and that's because it's a relative cell reference, not an absolute cell reference, because there's no dollar signs in front of the numbers or the letters. So that is the lookup. So now I need to assign a name to each cell where the lookup function is. So I'll go ahead and click the cell, and I can type in the word Bob, press enter, and it took me over here. And the reason why I probably did that is I probably already have Bob assigned to a specific cell range. So if I click on demo 2 here, let me go under formulas and go under the name manager, and we see that Bob is assigned to G8 in the example tab. So let me go ahead and close that. We'll have to give Bob a new name. So we'll have to give a new name, which is probably called as Bob underscore 2. So I'm going to go ahead and just type Bob underscore 2. And then now we have a name that's assigned to cell C6. So let me go ahead and do the same for Ann underscore 2, and then Raja underscore 2. Whoops, that's not right. No A here. Now let Raja underscore 2. Whoops, since I already typed it in there, it won't let me change it. So I can go under the name manager and I'll edit it here. So let me go ahead and edit it here. Click edit, and I'll just go ahead and delete that capital A and click OK. So now change that. Close, and I can go ahead and type Ming here. Oh, incidentally, you can also do it within the name manager. So you can say I define a name here, and I'll call this Ming underscore 2, and I'm in cell C9, so it's going to click OK, and it has defined that over there. And so there's a couple ways we can enter names for our cells. So let me go and do the last one here, Sally underscore 2. Now you notice that it took quite a while. So as I mentioned before, if you have a large table, this particular way may not be a good idea, but if you're okay entering this and you want to get the capability to have images in there, maybe that will be one of the trade-offs if you wanted to get an image from your lookup. So after we assigned a name to each of the cells with a lookup function, there's actually one more thing that we need to do, and we need to use another function within the name manager to reference the content of the cell. So let's say we went to step 4. I took the cell here, Control C to copy, go into this cell and insert a picture link. You'll notice that, and then I tried to change it. I tried to change it and reference the assigned name. This was Bob. So let's say instead of D13, I change this to Bob. You'll notice that it will not work. So I change it to Bob 2, press enter. It says, oops. Let me go ahead and type Bob and select Bob 2, press enter, and you notice it doesn't work. It just gives me average 2. It just gives me that the cell reference name, which is average 2, and I don't want that. And the reason why it's doing that is that I need to have the indirect function to go ahead and execute that name and try to execute it as a function. And so I need to go back into the formulas tab, go into name manager, and for each of these names, Bob underscore 2 and underscore 2, I need to use the indirect function in front of it. So you can see that we have it for Ann here, and it looks like I didn't create one for Ann. So let me go ahead and go back and create one for Ann. I can do it here. I can create one for Ann underscore 2, and that's going to be this one here, right? Click OK, and then I've got Ann right here. So what I need to do now for Ann is I need to put the indirect function in front of it. So I can just type indirect. It doesn't matter if it's all caps or not, because after you press enter, Excel will recognize it as all caps. So let me go ahead and click close. So yes, and then you can go back and you can look at Ann 2, it has indirect in front of it. So what I can do actually to make it a little bit faster is I can go ahead and select the parentheses, open parentheses, and indirect, control C to copy, and then just go on to the other ones like Bob. So we have Bob's first. We do go Bob 2, and go ahead and click in front of the demo here, control V to paste, and then close the parentheses here. Did that for Bob. Let's do that for Ming. Go ahead and go under in front of the D, control V to paste, and then close the parentheses. Let's say yes to this. Save changes, go to Raja, and then control V to paste indirect function in there. And then let me go into the last one. I'm going to go into Sally. Yes, we want to save that and go under Sally. We'll go ahead and control V to paste that indirect function in there. And then close the parentheses there and click close. And say yes. And now what we can do here is now we can go to step 4, where we paste the picture link and reference the assigned name. So if I click on the link here, I just click on, actually I can click on any cell, but I'll just click the cell. Control C to copy, and then go into the cell and go back in the home, go to paste, and then select picture link. You'll notice now it shows up. And if I look at the formula bar, it's going to reference D13 here. So I wanted to change it to Bob. So I'll go ahead and type BOB. It's got to be Bob 2 because it's for this particular cell or this worksheet for that Bob. Double click and press enter, and now you notice that it is the kind of the average face because he's got an average score. And now I just need to go ahead and size it up and make sure that it is sized correctly for the cell. Let me go ahead and press the Alt key, which will kind of size it to the cell here. You can do it a little bit more fine-tuning. So now we can just repeat it for the other rows here. So let's for example, you don't select the picture, you have to select the cell the picture is in. Control C to copy, go to the cell, and then click on paste picture link, and we'll go ahead and reference Ann underscore 2, press enter, and Ann should have a happy face, not this regular face. So that shows me that there's probably a reference errors here. So I'm going to go under the formulas, I'm going to go to name manager and look up Ann underscore 2, and we notice that Ann underscore 2 is at C6, which is Bob. That's not right. Let's go ahead and change it to C7. The name for Ann underscore 2 should reference the cell C7. Click close, say yes, and now we have a happy face. So we'll go ahead and let me go and press the Alt key and then just resize the cells here a little bit, and now we can just do the same for the other cells. Actually, I can just click any cell here, Control C to copy, go in here, and then go to home, paste a picture link, and it basically would be an empty picture link of E7. I just need to change that to Raja underscore 2. Double click that, press enter, and you now notice it's a sad face because Raja got 66, which is under 70, which is bad here. So let me go ahead and press the Alt key and go ahead and resize this. Press the Alt key to resize it, and it will snap to the confines of the cell range here. So I can do the same here. Control C to copy any empty cell, go back into the cell here, paste picture link, and reference. Go ahead and click and delete that reference. And for Ming, it's MING underscore 2. Double click that, press enter, and Ming's got an average face here because that's an average score here. So let me go ahead and just press the Alt key and resize that a little bit to the confines of the cell. And the last one here, I'm going to just click out here, or I can just click on anything. I can click on another cell here, Control C to copy, go in the cell, and then paste picture link, and it'll be that empty cell referencing G2. I'm here, and it references G2, but I can just delete that and type in Sally, S-A, and double click to get that one, press enter, and now Sally's got 95, which is above 80, and that's why we have this happy face. Press the Alt key, and then just move that into the confines of the space. Now if I didn't want to see the rest of these grids, I can go ahead and just go under view and uncheck that grid lines, and since I've already got these tables for borders, then it kind of nicely fits that in. So that's an example of how we can use the VLOOKUP to bring over an image. So as I mentioned before, this takes a little bit more work. So if you have a very long table, maybe not a good idea unless you had a lot of time. But if you like to have some images there, you had a shorter table, you want to add a little bit of color to your VLOOKUPs, this probably is a way to do it, to bring images over with a VLOOKUP. If you had a bigger table, maybe going back to demo 1, you might want to use the images under the Windings font and try to do it that way. So that can help you out if you had a larger table. All you need to do is just use your VLOOKUP and then just change the font and you will get your images. So there's our 2 ways to use VLOOKUP to bring over images. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching.